Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Imagine one of Hollywood's most respected actors face to face with a talk show host famous for rolling over anyone in his way. What happens when respect meets arrogance and dignity confronts condescension? Stay with me because you're about to see a jaw-dropping TV moment that will leave you wondering everything you ever thought you knew about these two titans. Before we get into this explosive confrontation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and comment below. Trust me, this tale gets crazy. You won't want to miss a moment. The battle was afoot, the studio lights blazing as Denzel Washington sat across from Bill Maher. The air crackled with electricity. Everyone sensed they were about to bear witness to fireworks between two of the entertainment world's most vocal personalities. Bill Maher reclined, flashing his classic smirk, prepared to launch his first insult. "Welcome to the show, Denzel. So," Maher began, his tone tinged with insincere warmth. "It's sort of nice to have somebody on here who's actually done something worthwhile for a change, as opposed to the typical lineup of celebrities who only promote their latest ego-bait projects." Denzel's eyebrows arched ever so slightly, realizing fully that this was a thinly veiled insult. "Thank you for inviting me, Bill," he said coolly, "though I'd say every single person who sits in this chair has achieved something. Otherwise, why would they be here?" Maher's eyes sparkled as he leaned forward, obviously relishing the repartee. "That's where we are different," he retorted. "You know, Denzel, what I love about you is diplomacy. But let's be real. Most actors today, pretty faces memorizing scripts. What happens next will shock you. The tension in the room ramps up as two giants clash, and neither is willing to back down. Keep watching. The conversation takes some unexpected turns that reveal far more than just entertainment industry drama. But this is where the real fire burns. Maher wasn't lobbing jabs. He was questioning the very nature of being an artist in the modern era. "Look, Denzel," he waved dismissively, "most stars today lack the gravitas, the life experience, or the IQ you apply to your performances. They're merely Instagram or TikTok stars who believe acting is lip-syncing other people's dialogue." You could practically see Denzel's jaw set. This was no more going to be a pleasant conversation. "Bill, I believe you're grossly underestimating what's out there," Denzel replied, level but firm. "The business has changed. Great artists are making incredible work on every platform, not the old ones." Maher leaned forward, eyes sparkling with eagerness, plainly enjoying the back and forth. "Come on, Denzel. Those TikTok personalities wouldn't last 5 minutes performing Shakespeare in the Park like you did in the early stages of your career." But Denzel wasn't conceding. "In fact, Bill," he said, voice calm but tinged with determination, "art always changes. Each generation discovers new methods for storytelling and engaging with people. To write off an entire generation because they're working on different platforms indicates a basic misunderstanding of creativity." Maher smirked, not ready to concede. "Fundamental misunderstanding, huh? You're one of the greatest actors of our time, but you're being way too generous. Half of these so-called artists can't even spell craft, let alone understand the dedication it takes." The room shifted uncomfortably, the air thick enough to cut with a blade. Denzel stood up, his voice stern now. "Bill, I believe you're blurring lines between cynicism and insight. Sure, I've done hard work, but that doesn't mean I or anyone else has the right to gatekeep art. Some of the most creative storytelling that I've come across in recent times is from the same platforms you belittle." "Innovation," Maher snorted. "A 15-second video of a guy dancing to a song he didn't write, dressed in sponsored attire, in front of a camera that he doesn't own? That is not innovation. That's marketing masquerading as art." Next, Denzel shot back a question that lingered in the air like a threat. "And who appointed you judge of what art is all about? You sit behind this desk week after week tearing down politicians and pop stars. But what have you produced that makes you the authority to determine what's worth it?" Maher's sneer wavered for just a moment before rebounding. "I've created this platform upon which actual conversations take place, where people talk truth to power without Hollywood's filter. Something you'd comprehend if you weren't so busy playing the diplomat." Denzel laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Bill, what you refer to as real conversations, others would refer to as cheap shots masquerading as commentary. You invite guests on specifically to tee them up for your jokes. The studio went silent, tension thick. Maher's face reddened as he realized this wasn't the typical, effortless give and take. I challenge people to have straightforward conversations about serious issues. If they can't take a little pushback, perhaps they don't deserve to be public figures. Pushback is one thing, Denzel grew firmer in tone. What you do is something different altogether. You take good faith attempts at talking seriously about serious things and distort them. And that's where we have to leave it. What comes next? How does this battle of giants conclude? Wait and see. You won't believe how the rest goes down. You simply manipulate honest dialogue into material for your rants? Denzel retorted, his tone firm but laced with tension. You don't want to know other points of view. You merely wish to gain applause from your crowd. Maher sat back, attempting to stabilize. Denzel, I think you're taking this personally. I'm just trying to have an honest discussion about entertainment and culture. No, Bill, Denzel replied, patience wearing thin. What you're actually doing is precisely what you always do. You set yourself up as the wise observer, looking down on all other people's stupidity. But the truth is, wisdom isn't about knocking people down. Wisdom is about building people up. The room went silent. The audience was not watching just another celebrity interview. Something more, something raw and honest was unfolding before them. Maher, visibly shaken by Denzel's refusal to cooperate, did go ahead and dial it up. Building them up? With all due respect, Denzel, that's the kind of feel-good malarkey-killing honest debate today. Sometimes individuals must be called out. Sometimes the truth hurts. Denzel's eyes blazed dangerously. And who made you the arbiter of truth, Bill? You speak about honest discussion, but all I see is a man who has made cynicism and disunion the basis of his career. A man who confuses ruthlessness with clarity. Maher's expression contorted into fake shock, but the annoyance was obvious. Cruelty for clarity, how rich. You know what's cruel? Act like every opinion is equal when some haven't put in the work. That's not compassion. It's dishonesty of the mind. Denzel's voice fell to a low, menacing whisper. Intellectual dishonesty? Bill, the only dishonesty is you acting like your condescension is moral. You play this truth-teller role, but you're nothing but another bully with a microphone. The crowd gasped. No one had ever called Maher out like that on his own show. His jaw hardened, his characteristic smirk giving way to actual anger. Bully? Really? His voice broke slightly. I'm a bully because I challenge people to think, rather than swallowing whatever narrative is being shoved down their throats. Because I won't be a feelings coddler when facts are at stake. No, Bill, you're a bully because you use your platform to embarrass people for entertainment's sake, Denzel said, steady but unyielding. You don't desire actual conversations. You desire viral moments. Maher stood up straight, his face flushed red. Viral? Denzel, I was having real conversations about serious issues before social media was a thing. Don't preach to me about authenticity after you've made a career out of make-believe. That stung like a blow. The audience was silent as Denzel stood up slowly, standing above the space between them. His voice was low but heavy with just contained rage. Playing make-believe, Denzel echoed softly. Bill, all the roles I've ever played, all the tales I've ever spun have been about truth, about tapping into real human experience. That's not make-believe. That's art. And that's something that I think you do not get. Each character I've done has been about revealing truth in the human condition, Denzel said softly but steadfastly. It's about introducing people to aspects of themselves they had no idea existed. What you do, it's not even in the same universe as that. Maher snorted, but the characteristic smugness in his tone was absent. Oh, please, don't mythologize acting like it's some altruistic vocation. You recite lines, mark hits. I have to work with real issues, issues that really impact people's lives, Denzel sneered. Bill, your dealing with real issues is sitting behind this desk, cracking jokes about other people's agony. You find suffering amusing as long as it's not happening to you. That's not commentary, that's sociopathy. Maher's eyes widened in shock and fury. Sociopathy? You're crazy. I've spent my career saying hypocrisy and fighting for liberal causes. I've made stands that cost me personally and professionally. Denzel's voice increased for the first time. You've made positions that make you superior. Every position you take, every cause you support, it's all about making you the smartest guy in the room. You don't really care about the people you're supposed to fight for. Maher sneered, abandoning all pretense of politeness. That's total rubbish, and you know it. At least I'm honest regarding my views, rather than hiding behind some cleaned-up public persona. When was the last time you ever said anything that could actually end up costing you a job or an endorsement? That stung Denzel like a gut punch, and for a second he lost his cool. Then collecting himself, he shot back. You want honesty, Bill? Okay, here it is. I've sat and watched you, years now, and ripped down everyone who dares to dream, make, or believe in something more. You've amassed a fortune selling cynicism to folks who were desperate for hope. Maher's tone was dripping with contempt. False hope is worse than no hope at all. At least if people know how bad things are, perhaps they'll do something rather than Instagramming inspirational quotes. Here it is, Denzel spat, jabbing his finger at Maher. That's your whole worldview. You do think breaking people's spirits is beneficial for them. You think if you make everyone as unhappy and cynical as you are, you're helping them. Maher moved closer, voice raised. I believe not lying about how the world actually is a matter of treating people with respect. Something that you apparently don't get, given the way you're addressing me in my own home. Your house? Denzel's eyes bolted up. Bill, this is a TV studio, not the kingdom of you. And the fact that you perceive it that way says all I need to know about how you perceive yourself in relation to everyone else. I perceive myself as someone who's earned the right to say what he wants because he's put in the time, Maher shot back. I don't have to be nice to people who've not earned that right, Maher interjected, voice cutting. Denzel shook his head, incredulity evident. Respect isn't something you earn once and you get to keep it for good. It's something you have to demonstrate day in and day out by how you treat other people. And judging by what I've seen tonight, you forfeited that right a very long time ago. The studio was plunged into a deep silence, interrupted only by the heavy breathing. The crowd was seeing something much more than just an interview. It was a struggle of principles, a naked contest for dignity and veracity. There was an air of tension between them, the two men engaged in a war of wills. Maher's face contorted with rage when he felt himself losing control of his own program. You know what, Denzel? I think this discussion's gone far enough, Maher snapped between gritted teeth. Perhaps you'd better just stick to other people's scripts. Improvisation obviously isn't your forte. Denzel looked at him intently, something subtle changing in his face. You're right about one thing, Bill. This conversation has reached its end, but not for the reason you assume. Oh, really? And why's that? Maher defied, sarcasm oozing from his tone. Denzel's response was subdued, but it hit like a sledgehammer. Because I finally know what everyone's been trying to say about you all these years. You're not a truth teller, Bill. You're not even a very good entertainer. You're just a sad, bitter man who's deluded himself. His anger makes him deep. The words struck Maher like a body blow. His face contorted through shock, anger, incredulity, before freezing into something dark and desperate. The audience sensed the change. Maher was being bested, pushed into a corner by his own guest. Bitter and sad, Maher's voice broke. That's your expert opinion, Doctor. Washington? You believe you can analyze me because you've acted in a couple of dramatic scenes? That's the thing I'm trying to get at. Actors believing their make-believe emotions qualify them to judge actual life. Denzel remained completely motionless, voice cold and detached. Bill, I don't need to pretend I know what I'm looking at right here. A man so afraid of true human connection that he brings down anyone who ever displays weakness or optimism. You've constructed your entire persona on being the fellow who gets through all the crap of everyone else. But what if someone gets through yours? There's nothing to see through, snarled Maher, although his tone betrayed his desperation. What you see is what you get. I don't hide behind PR teams or characters. I say what I think, and if people don't like it, that's their problem. No, Bill, Denzel moved ahead, his voice unyielding. What I see is a man so terrified of being truly known that he's made cruelty a shield. You strike at other people's authenticity because you're terrified someone will find out that you have none of your own. Maher's hands shook now. His masterfully constructed image was disintegrating in front of the crowd's eyes. You don't know me, Denzel. You don't know what I've been through, what I gave up to make it here. You're right, I don't know your story, Denzel acknowledged, but I do know what I see. Someone mistaken fear for respect, someone who believes belittling others makes him larger. Bullshit psychology 101 basics, Maher sneered, his voice cracking and rising. You want to know what makes a guy big, Denzel? Actually doing something worthwhile, not dressing up like somebody else. The put-down was intended to be biting, but Denzel merely smiled, sadly knowingly. Bill, each time you attempt to diminish my art, you only serve to illuminate just how little you realize the strength of storytelling. The characters I have played, the stories I have told, they are about more than mere acting. They are about reaching for truth, for humanity. The stories I've assisted in telling have moved millions, providing hope where there was none, courage when others were weak, and meaning when they lost their way. Maher interjected sharply, his tone laced with venom. Oh, spare me the saccharine speech regarding Hollywood's transformative power. You make movies for entertainment. Don't try to sugarcoat it as some lofty vocation. Denzel's question landed quietly but like a dagger. And what about you, Bill? What have you really given the world besides division and cynicism? When guests leave your show, do they feel better about themselves? More hopeful? More connected to others? Maher opened his mouth, but no words came. For the first time, he seemed genuinely speechless. The moment hung, the crowd waiting while Maher reached for an answer. At last he grunted, I give people the truth. No, Bill, Denzel snapped back. You give people your version of the truth. And your version always includes having others appear stupid, naive, or inferior to you. That's not truth. That's intellectual bullying masquerading as wisdom. Maher's face flushed red, sweat beading on his forehead. Intellectual bullying? Seriously? I'm one of the few left who calls out stupidity. If that makes me a bully, then maybe this country needs more bullies. Denzel's voice grew, firm and even. This nation requires more individuals who know that intellect without empathy is no more than cruelty, masquerading as refined language. You are brave because you injure feelings. True bravery is having a platform to raise people up and not tearing them down. Take people up to what? More illusions? False optimism? Maher almost yelled. The world is cruel, Denzel. People need to learn that if they're going to survive. The world may be cruel, Denzel asserted, but it doesn't have to be. Each day we opt to contribute to the shadows or introduce a little light. You've opted for shadows and persuaded yourself that makes you illumined. Maher gazed, chest laboring, speechless. The crowd remained utterly silent, transfixed by the confrontation. Finally, Maher spoke, feeble and pleading. You know what, Denzel? Let's just disagree and move on to the next piece. Denzel gazed at him long and unflinching. No, Bill, I don't want to go on. I think I'm finished here. Finished? Maher's voice broke. The interview's not done. We have 2 parts left. The interview's finished for me, said Denzel softly, reaching down to unclip his microphone. I came here expecting a dialogue with someone who, no matter how much we disagreed, would at least have respect for other human beings. And I'm stuck across from a person who seems to derive entertainment from other people's suffering. I don't, Maher stammered, panic flashing in his eyes as he realized Denzel was serious about leaving. Denzel, come on. We're having a good discussion here. This is the kind of honest dialogue people need to see. Denzel stood, the finality in his posture undeniable. Denzel carefully set his microphone on the chair. Honest conversation takes honesty, Bill, and good faith. You have neither. He addressed the camera, his voice firm and strong. To anyone watching who's ever been made to feel small by someone who says they're smarter, remember this. Real intelligence is humble. Real wisdom is kind. And real strength doesn't need to prove itself by crushing others. Maher jumped up, his voice filled with desperation. Denzel, sit down. Let's have an adult conversation here. Denzel stood at the periphery of the set, then walked back to Maher one step at a time. Bill, I've been attempting to communicate with you like an adult for the last hour. But adults hear one another. Adults are respectful, even when they disagree. Adults don't make every discussion a battle to see who's better. This is absurd, Maher bellowed, his voice carrying through the shocked silence. You're storming off because I questioned you? Because I didn't treat you like unapproachable Hollywood royalty? Denzel stood and slowly walked away, burning eyes with restrained anger. I'm walking away because life's too short to waste time with people who confuse cruelty with cleverness. Because I won't play along with whatever twisted fun you think this is. And because someone needs to demonstrate your audience, they don't have to stand for being spoken to as if they're stupid just because someone's got a TV show. With that, Denzel Washington exited the set, leaving Bill Maher standing by himself in the harsh studio lights, his face a mask of shock and humiliation. The crowd sat stunned, having seen one of the greatest takedowns in television history. Cameras continued to roll as Maher remained speechless, mouth hanging open, completely rendered silent. For once, the man who always had the last word was left utterly silent. That's how one of Hollywood's greatest actors revealed to the world what true dignity was all about, and how a talk show host's ego was finally put in its place. So what do you think? Did Denzel do this right, or should he have fought and remained? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories like this.